and by yon bonny briers, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where I and my true love were ever one to gae, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low road. I'll be in Scotland before thee, though me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, steep side of Ben Lomond, where in purple hue the highland hills we view, and the morning coming out from that gloaming. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low road. I'll be in Scotland before thee, though me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. The wee birdies sing and the wild flowers spring, and the sun shines, the waters are sleeping, but the broken heart, it has no second spring, and the woeful scenes from their greeting. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before thee, though me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
Oh, you may like to come and see the grave. You may come and view the grave.
I'll give her a little blessing. Oh, where's the candle? I'll go and get
Oh, yes, please.
Here's a little blessing. Oh, so it was here. Yeah. I saw all the bones, and she's got a hoof. Good girl.
That was hers. Yeah, when she had nothing else left to chew on, she would give the hoof another chew. So,
Yeah. Are we standing?
please take a seat in the Church of Janet. Oh, I better get Jazz. This is how I'm carrying Jazzies.
Would you actually bury it there?
I think so. Feeding the dogs love it.
You're not so big. See, look, the pots are scared escaping.
Yep.
So where is she buried? Across here, this down here. This is like the
Look at that
tombstone.
pile of dirt there.
It is.
Oh, here's Mel, just in time.
Oh, perfect timing.
Oh, I don't know about that. We've been here a bit early. Should drive a seat phone?
Huh?
Should drive a seat phone?
Oh no, that's her offhand man. Her offhand man. What is it? Left-hand man.
Yeah, I like the tweed jacket for the occasion. With all the
Isn't it gorgeous?
So Scotties.
Oh, yeah.
It might be a bit of overkill, I'm sorry.
No, it's
But I can't do anything without overkill, Catherine.
It's very important. I know, there's even a toaster ad or something where it's like shaking it ass.
Okay, we'll go back to the road. We'll go the next road.
Congregation, please be seated.
Oh, I met you before. Yeah.
Sorry. Why are you sitting in the back stalls?
Well, I thought it was going to
There's front stalls here.
Over there too.
Yeah, good. Wow, lovely. And everyone.
Yeah, Sam.
Stand.
Very nice.
Hey, Tom.
French champagne. The French and the Scottish are very close.
Yes, that's what I
That's
thought.
because they're mixed.
Wait, what?
Catholic.
All stand, please.
Come on, Sandy, this is the best bit. Let's put the car on, isn't it?
You might have to face that out so I can do the eulogy. Really?
Lovely.
Perfect, thanks. Oh,
Can we
you have
sit?
to use that. It's Bluetooth, isn't
Can we
it?
sit?
Oh, right. Thank you all for coming to celebrate the life of Janet. And I'm smiling and laughing because it's lovely to know how much she meant to people, but it's been a very grieving time for me. So you may all now be seated. We are gathered here today to commend the life of Janet, and I have put together some thoughts under the heading of Janet's funny foibles, because everyone remembers Janet's funniness. Do look, all the dogs are listening. The dogs have all come to the funeral too. Okay, the first one, Janet was always here on the bricks on this rock when we came home, and then she would travel along here waving her paw at you and bowing her head as you walked up the stones up to the house, so that when you got to the house, this is particularly after 5 years at the shop when I came home at doggy dinner time, then she would instruct you to follow her around to collect the dog dishes, and so she was very managerial. She would trample my calves. These are my memories of her trampling my calves while the feed bowl's being taken out. Looking left and right before starting dinner, daring anyone to challenge. Growling at her food, barking at her food when she was younger. This was a forerunner of the previous characteristic of standing over her food for a while before she actually started. Babysitting bones. Janet collected bones, she mustered them. She would sleep beside them. If another dog left his own bone to drink or pee, it was fair game, and into the Janet collection it would go. I have a collection of bones for her grave here. Some of these are in fact current projects of Janet. This one here was probably her most current project that she was working on at the time she was prematurely taken from us. Janet managed to manifest a selective deafness. This actually was a forerunner to her being completely deaf later in life, but as a young dog she was selectively deaf, and the one voice she was completely deaf to was Martin's. So Janet had a particular skill for ignoring instructions that didn't suit her. This was from human beings and also from dogs. So she would walk up to to Hero's dinner, and no matter how threatening and growling and scary Hero was, telling her to go away, Janet would just push past him and take dinner. She did the same thing to growling and threatening Martin. When he was ordering her from the house, she walked straight past his feet and into the kitchen. She gave him a strange look and walked past him. This was one of her greatest skills, to make people feel insignificant in those situations. The boys, Tom and Ted, most remember the way Janet owned the soccer ball. I honestly meant to film this and send it to the footy show for the video competition. If you rolled a football or an oval-shaped ball towards Janet, she would run away from it and turn up her nose and wander off. If you rolled a soccer ball to Janet, she was all over it, growling fiercely and getting her teeth into it and rolling it along with her tummy and jumping all over it. So she was definitely a soccer-playing Scot. Teddy remembers her little leaps on the veranda. If Jazz was under the veranda looking for something, Janet was on top of the veranda doing these little leaps on top of Jazz. That was one of Teddy's favourites. And also her resistance when you're trying to cuddle her or trim her or anything like that. She would have massive spasms of resistance, and then she would suddenly go limp. And when she'd been limp for a while in your arms, she would suddenly have these spasms of resistance again, and then she'd go limp again. So she was a bit of a cartoon character. Janet would run on the polished concrete in there, bursting into gallop, while her feet slid on the floor, and she was in fact running on the spot, exactly like a cartoon character. And and she had little cute leapy moves, which you just saw in the video before, and her special skill was jumping backwards at dinner time. So excited about dinner every night. It was, Teddy pointed this out. He just said, "Mum, I can't believe how excited Janet is about dinner every single night, and we've been feeding her the same thing for 10 years. So Janet also, she was very managerial. Like once you've come home, she's telling you dinner time, and she's taking you out to pick up the plates. And once I picked up one plate for dinner, she would take me to the second plate, take me to the third plate, and then once I had all 3 plates in the kitchen, she would relax. But if I only picked up 2 plates, I wasn't, she had to make sure I picked up all plates. She also had her cute things. I've already told you about what she was like to put to bed. I had to walk in her line of vision. I had to wait at the door. She would check I was there, then she would have a drink, and then she would hop into bed, and then allow me to shut the door. Then there was decibels of noise as she rolled on her bed. But she wasn't happy unless the boys were put to bed as well. She was a woman of protocol and routine. She was a household manager.
She was a Scot.
One of my most loving memories of her was she would sit half on my lap and half on the sofa arm of an evening. But that, she wasn't given to cuddles or anything like that. She was a sort of dog who, if you needed to pet her, she would let you pet her. And then when she thought you'd had enough of petting her, she would leave you alone. But she wasn't often that she was the one coming to look for the pet or the cuddle. Well, never really. She loved Jazz. Janet was a picture of adoring, romantic love where Jazz was concerned. And it was utterly unrequited. And after several years, she just gave up. But she would just stare at him and follow him everywhere. When you used to take her for a walk around the paddocks, she always made me laugh because she was my knee-high comedian. She would burst into run and then stop, burst into running again and stop. And just like right up till the age of 12, like a few days before she even was taken from us. Still this mad little puppy thing. If we're in an urban environment and we took her for a walk, we had to put her on a lead and collar. Janet took this very seriously. A lead and a collar was a harness. And when in harness, she worked. And she would take me for a walk. And none of this, running free with the stoppy, starty, leapy thing. When she was in harness, it was metronomic. Trot, 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 straight lines, dragging me with her. And it was business. And, I loved that about her. She knew what work was, even though she... The funniest, one of my most hysterical memories, Jen always made me laugh out loud. If she was outside when dinner was coming out, she would, as you know, we have these big glass doors, she would bash on the door. She would get on her hind feet, put up her paws and hurl her not insignificant weight at the door with her bare paws and just bang, bang, making that huge pane of glass crash. And in winter, this was quite scary because at night time, with the kitchen light inside, all you could see when she was bashing the door was her white fangs, the whites of her eyes, and the pink tongue. So it was quite a macabre, gruesome night vision. If anyone has any memories of Janet that they would like to share with us.
Mine's already shared hers.
Well, on that note,
I could sing a little song.
Oh, please. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy has written a song for Janet.
I haven't actually. I'm just going to improvise.
Okay. Would you like to sit over here?
Yeah. Sorry, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is my first. Oh no. I've just learnt this. It's 3 days old.
Can you sing with a Scottish accent?
And now Janet's gone, and we loved her so. She made us laugh, and she made us cry. Everybody's hurting or laughing. Everybody's weeping for Janet, for Janet, oh, our Janet, our Janet.
So I would like to close the service with a hymn. Would you all stand up and be singing? Oh, not Amazing Grace, is it? Speed Bonnie Boat. Follow me.
We just sadly none of us know the words of, but we'll hum.
Speed bonny boat like a bird on the wing, over the sea to sky. Carry the lass that's last born to be queen, over the sea to sky. La 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 la, let's watch your la 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 la. Speed bonny boat like a bird on the wing, over the sea to sky. Thank you very much. Now, on that note, I would like to commend Janet's spirit to the canine God and trust that she will live on in everyone's memory as an irresistible character. Thank you very much.
Janet.